The atmosphere, everything in the stadium felt different this weekend, and I think there's been such an amazing job having that connection with the club again. And we saw it on the pitch, we saw it off the pitch. We are in such a special moment as Birmingham City supporters at the moment.
Arriving, pinball in the penalty area, right!
So welcome back to BCFC Royal Blue. And on Saturday, Birmingham City beat Wigan Athletic 2-1 at home in a very late, dramatic end to the game, with Birmingham winning the game in the 90-plus first minute. And I won't lie, I think I've watched that clip back about 50 times on YouTube of the lower Tilton going absolutely crazy when that goal went in. So, Dad, it's been just over 24 hours since the final whistle went. What are your initial reflections on the game?
Firstly, it was great to see Tony Mowbray at the ground. Got a great reception from the crowd, well deserved as well. Lovely to see him back healthy, and just nice to see the guy there. And that added to a fantastic atmosphere. Tom Wagner was there. What a guy!
Stano was there.
Yeah, so everything was set up to be an amazing atmosphere, an amazing afternoon. And and ultimately, as you said, we'll talk about the mechanics of the game in a moment, but it finished in an epic style, didn't it? Where everybody went home happy, and
that's what we live for, isn't it, as Birmingham City supporters and Blues and football fans in general? We live for those moments, don't we? That 90-plus first-minute goal, the Tilton going nuts. It was just
there seems to be a popular term nowadays is limbs, and I've never seen limbs like that. I mean, that was absolutely bananas
for a home game, because normally limbs concentrate on the away end, but to see it in the home end.
Yeah,
crazy.
But I think it was like that all over the ground, to be honest, apart from the away end, obviously, for the away fans. But we got the win. The main thing is, we've always said, man, we were saying this last season as well, before we had all these changes, that if 3 points means getting a scuff goal, a scrappy win, I don't think it was quite like that. But we got over the line. We got the 3 points that we needed.
Yeah, I think the biggest takeaway for me yesterday was, for the first time in a long time, going down to St.Andrews, I felt a connection between the manager and the crowd and the players. I felt like all those elements stuck together for the entirety of the game. There was something I felt at the game yesterday that I can't put my finger on, that I haven't felt for at least a couple of seasons down the Blues. As I said, that's
it's what I think's made a difference. Yeah, as we're going to the ground, we're going towards the Kop, and the fan zone is rammed. Mm-hmm. That was never there before, So the fans literally would arrive at the ground to go into the stadium. That was it. Mm-hmm. But here now, the fans are congregating, and they're obviously, meeting together. The atmosphere was brilliant. I mean, how many DJs I've got around the ground? There was
one. You could hear DJs flooding into other areas.
There was one in the fan zone, wasn't there? And then when we eventually went into the Tilton turnstiles, there was another one right outside the turnstile in the Tilton, and then there was another one which is actually by the Arthur's area for the stadium. So I think the club are trying to do their best to pump up the atmosphere and to get people up for it. But I think that made a massive difference to see all those thousands of Blues fans in the Kop car park in the fan zone was absolutely staggering. I know there's another fan zone which we didn't get to see in the other side of the ground as well. That makes a difference because everybody's there for the same purpose, aren't they?
Absolutely, it just adds that togetherness, don't it? But for me, yesterday wasn't a perfect performance, but when you include all these elements of us being together, it was a scrappy, gritty end to the game, and even that's encouraging because we haven't had that for a couple of seasons. That sort of determination and grit and all that. We said that a lot on last year's podcast, Dad, didn't we? Where's the grit? Where's the fight? And these elements are coming back to the Blues team, and they're massive positives. And more importantly, we got the 3 points, Dad. And I know we're going to go through the performance a bit more specifically in a minute. I said there are areas that we definitely need to sharpen up in. But, the fact, again, we haven't played perfectly throughout, but we've still managed to come away with 3 points is a massive, massive positive for me in this team. And just what Chris Davis is doing, what Tom Wagner's done, as I said, yesterday just felt special.
It did. There were periods, particularly when they equalised, I think there was a little bit of frustration. I felt frustration because we, give a silly goal away. So we'll go through. Let's talk about the game, actually, because let's go back to the start, and I'll get your thoughts on this, Matt, because obviously we had an enforced change with Anderson being injured. But he bought Williamson was playing to number 10, and then Luke Harris was playing on the wide right. But that really overly didn't surprise me. But the big surprise for me was Gardner Hickman starting in place of Mark Leonard. What's your thoughts on that?
Well, I think Mark Leonard is a must-starter. And I think he proved that when he came on. And by the way, Hickman didn't do anything wrong here. I'm not knocking Hickman's performance.
Yeah.
I think he had a good game when he was on the pitch. But the difference it made when Leonard came onto the pitch, I think he's proven to me he has to be starting every game.
I totally agree. He is, to me, obviously we don't know Chris Davies'
class.
strategy in terms of what he's doing, obviously. But I'm thinking, well, he's probably going to rotate the squad anyway for Warsaw, which is the next game in the EFL Trophy. So therefore, there was no need really to drop Mark Leonard, in my opinion. I don't know what, I'm not criticising Chris Davies because I can't because of what's happened so far. But I just felt that when I saw that Leonard wasn't there, and I actually think, I'd actually at the moment put my head on the block and say that I think he's our best signing so far, in my opinion. I mean, there's lots of them. I love Clara, Cochrane as well. So we could go around a few players. Alfie May, of course, yeah. But him, I think he does so much.
I think I agree.
For the team in all areas of helping and breaking up the play in defensive midfield, but also helping in attack as well.
Also, I think Leonard and Paik complement each other better because, as I said, I think we said this in a previous podcast, Dad, Leonard gives us a little bit of bite, and then Paik just wants to get rid of the ball and keep moving. I mean, we can get onto Paik's performance in a minute. I thought he was absolutely outstanding. Just his passing, just breaking up play and then passing it through the channels, getting us it's just fantastic. I thought he had a great game. But yeah, Leonard for me, I think that proven he has to start moving forward.
I also think as well it proved how well Anderson's been playing in the first few games because we did look a little bit. We weren't completely on. I'm not saying that Luke Harris did anything particularly wrong. He gave his usual performance, his usual energy. He worked hard. So there's no criticising his performance in that respect. I just think that Anderson just gives us that more of an edge on the right-hand side, and we did clearly miss him. But having said that, I thought that was probably the natural choice. I would have thought. Obviously now Miyoshi's gone, so that leaves us that. And obviously now we have got Scott Wright, who actually, as we know, came on and got the winner, but he can play in that position as well. I would like to see. He looked okay when he came on.
He looked quite bright in patches, didn't he? And also Yokoyama. I think we have to get him starting. I think he's really dangerous. He's really fast. I was impressed with him again when he came on. We look so much more dangerous down the wings, don't we, when Yokoyama's on the pitch? And again, I'm not necessarily knocking Hansen here. I thought he had moments, especially in the first half, where he was doing pretty well at unlocking Wigan. So there's no individual real bad performances here. I just think, arguably, we have some better options that he's using on the bench at the moment, which could start. But I have full trust and faith in Chris Davies. I'm not knocking his decision making here. I'm just making an observation. When Leonard comes on, when Yokoyama comes on, when some of these players come on, we look so much stronger in those positions. To me, so I
agree. But Chris Davies has a really nice problem, doesn't he?
Absolutely.
So he's
we've
actually
not had this problem for years.
No, so he actually has a choice to select who is going to be playing in each position. Not who is available, but who's the best player. Because there's so many options that we've got. Notice that we had a really strong bench as well. So on the bench we had Allsop, Stansford, Ben Davies was on the bench, Mark Leonard, Scott Wright, and Yokoyama, obviously, and Dykes as well. Lyndon Dykes, no Yuki.
Yeah, well,
but that's not a surprise, is it? Really?
Lyndon Dykes is a younger version of Yuki, isn't he? And as we say, Yuki's still got a goal in him. He can still come on for 10 minutes at the end of games. I know he's got that in him, but I think now Dykes is a part of our team. I think we'll see Yuki get him selected less and less, unfortunately. And that's not easy for me to say. We all love Yuki. He's a club legend, isn't he? But
I was watching Dykes when he came on as well. If you looked at him when he was in
sledgehammer.
Because you looked at him in the box. I think their centre halves were trying to push him around. He was just pushing them back.
Battering ram.
Yeah, and I like that. We need that physical.
In fact, the first thing he did when he came on was crunch someone's ankles. And again, I'm not condoning someone getting injured, but I was thinking, this is what I want. I want to see a little bit of bite nastiness. That's exactly what we said in the preview when we bought him. And the best description I saw online was a battering ram. I thought that was hilarious because that's what it is. People were pushing him, he was pushing them back, getting stuck in. And for his kind of play, that's all you can ask for, really. Get stuck in.
Well, we criticised a few things over last season in terms of what we were missing, and somebody made a point. I think it was one of our posts I put on that commented that something that we were banging on about last season was that in this game, towards the end of the game, Samstead got clattered, and straight away Clara and Leonard were over defending him.
Loved it.
Yeah,
absolutely loved it.
And we didn't get that last season. We were just walking away and struggling. But this it makes me feel like that we actually feel like a team now. Yeah. That they're going to look after each other. And
it's funny you say that. I've literally got that in my notes. I've literally got Samstead gets fouled and Clara and Leonard go over. And as you say, Dad, that's what football's about, backing up your teammates. And we referenced the QPR away game, didn't we, when Drama got a nosebleed or got a cut, and the Blues players were just standing around him. And I was thinking, why is no one backing him up or shoving someone? someone or pushing someone and say, you're not doing that to my teammate, get lost or whatever. That was lovely to see. And then when you throw in like Chris Davis running down the line after we scored, the Tilton going, I think that's what comes back to my original point, Dad. The atmosphere, everything in the stadium felt different this weekend, and I think there's been such an amazing job having that connection with the club again. And we saw it on the pitch, we saw it off the pitch. We are in such a special moment as Birmingham City supporters.
Yeah, and Tom Wagner has completely backed the club. He's done everything he said he was going to do. Tom Wagner, Knighthead, and obviously the rest of the management team have done exactly what they said they were going to do. So there's nothing in that respect that we could ever criticise in terms of what they said they were going to do. Going back to the game as well, on the first goal as well, Alfie's 4-in-4 now in the league. And
first person to do it since Kevin Phillips.
Yeah, so let's hope it's going to be many more as well. Good through ball from Williamson as well to put him through. Obviously, where we were in the Tilton, the Wigan players were going mad that they felt it was offside. But even Sean Maloney, their manager, I watched his interview on Latix TV, which is the Wigan channel, and he said it was so tight. He said you couldn't really criticise the.
It was onside.
Yeah. Well, he pretty much said that.
If you watch it back, he's quite clearly. I wouldn't say miles onside, but he's evidently onside for sure.
John Malone says it's tight. I mean,
because what they've done is the centre half for Wigan's tried to play a bit of a trap, but he's timed his run terribly. So he's actually, when the ball's played, try and catch Alfie May out.
The thing is, we haven't had a striker like him for ages, because as soon as he went through, I could have gone to the toilet knowing that when I come back he's going to score. Exactly. I didn't need to watch it. I just know that you just know that he's going to score. Once he gets in that position, he's always going to score. And it was a good finish. He still has to do it. Good finish. That put us 1-0 up.
So for me though, Dad, the most important bit about that goal was that was a perfect example of Chris Davis's new football coming to play. We beat the Wigan press. We played through the Wigan press. That's how we got through to that goal. So if you actually watch that goal back from like 30 seconds to a minute prior, we're building up, they're pressing, we're playing through the press, and we actually get that goal holding off and playing through the press. Yeah. And that was the first time I'd seen it this season work really smooth, relatively smoothly. And as you say, when Alfie May goes in, he scores, and I have full confidence in that.
So that gave us a 1-0 lead. And to be honest, at the rest of the first half, Wigan played well. They closed us down. We didn't have any real clear-cut chances, though we had a lot of good possession, a lot of good play, but nothing really clinical, nothing really clear.
We had a couple of chances. I remember Hansen cutting in and shooting, good save.
Yeah. When I say that half chances, there was nothing that I wouldn't say was a clear-cut chance, but yeah, we still created chances. But that's fair play to Wigan. And again, going back to what I just heard when I listened to Sean Maloney, and he talks a lot of sense actually. He's very sort of he did obviously talked about the fact that we had billions of pounds and stuff like that. But he actually said that he's really, really proud of his team, and that that's the best that they've played, and that's what we're going to get for every team. Every team we've played has played their game. We said that they're going to up their game. So no game is going to be easy in this league, because these teams have got nothing to lose. I guess playing against us, we've got everything to lose. But ultimately, I think he obviously thought that in patches that they were good. First 20 minutes of the second half, they did okay. Wigan, they closed us down, and obviously then we can talk about their goal.
I mean, just quickly before that though, Dad, strap in Blues fans, because all I've been reading on social is you've spent 30 million this transfer window. Oh, that was an embarrassing level of celebration for beating Wigan. Guess what? We'd have celebrated like that if we beat anyone in the South Conference. If we beat Solihull Moors, we'd have celebrated like that in the 90th minute. That's just in our DNA as a fan base, So
all the other clubs would be exactly the same.
We're going to get all the excuses under the sun. Sorry, just coming back to the game, Dad. Yes, that leads us on to the Wigan goal. Disappointing, isn't it? And I'm not going to pile in, because I know for a fact Bailey Peacock foul is going to be knowing he messed up on that one, but it goes down to a really error from the goalkeeper, doesn't it? And at the end of the day, that should be a comfortable save.
It should be. It's a bread and butter save, isn't it? But it's a horrible position to be a goalkeeper, isn't it? Because you make mistakes like that. There's no hiding place. He must have wished that the hole had opened up so he could fall into it. But it was a really bad error. It's a basic sort of let the ball go through your legs type of thing.
I bet Bailey Peacock foul was celebrating the most when we scored the 90+1.
Yeah, well apparently I didn't see this obviously because there was a big crowd in front of us at the end of the game. But players were going over to him and actually.
Brilliant. Exactly. It comes back to that team spirit, don't it?
Yeah, and Chris Davis was saying that when he was interviewed as well, he goes, "Well, I wasn't aware of that when the interviewer told him." He said, "But I'm really pleased about it." Because he said, "If one makes a mistake, we all do."
Exactly.
That's just a team game, but it was disappointing. And again, going back to this, we're not going to get onto the back of Bailey Peacock Farrell, but there has to be an argument in this competitive selection process that Allsop at some point is going to get a chance in the or selected in the first team.
And we did say in the pre-Wigan video that we'd like to see that swap, didn't we? And that's got nothing to do with the error that Farrell made at Leyton Orient. It was just the positives of Allsop's distribution that we've seen at Charlton against Fulham. We were really impressed, weren't we, with Allsop? So I do think over the coming weeks we'll see that transition from Allsop going in. Can I just say that on the Wigan goal? Because let's just call it what it is, by the way. In the first 15 minutes and 20 minutes of the second half, I would say Wigan were the better team, actually, for that first section. But what they did after that was borderline disgraceful. Time wasting, running down the clock, fake injuries. And I didn't even know they went down to 10 men, if I'm going to be honest. I was so caught up in the emotion and everything in the stadium, I didn't think to clock. But that comes down to their decision to burn the clock down, making substitutions down all the time. So I thought
fair play to the ref, though. I did 9 minutes on.
Yeah, and the ref handled it decently well, actually. He was basically saying, get up. And he kept, I saw him a few times go, get up, and he kept pointing to his watch, basically saying, whatever you're doing now, I'm going to add on at the end. And the referee can only do so much, and I thought he gave out a few yellow cards. He handled it as well as he could. But from a Wigan point of view, I think they should probably hang their head in a little bit of shame about that one, if I'm honest.
Well, that's where it comes to shoot them in the face, because, when we go, they try and waste time, then we go and score a winner. Now they're in a problem because all that time they've wasted, they could have used trying to get another one themselves. But we're going to get this a lot. Leyton Orient were the same, weren't they? They tried to slow the game down. I know they were chasing the win, so it wasn't as bad as Wigan, but we're going to get that. So when teams particularly come to St.Andrews and they've got a chance of getting a point.
I mean, that's borderline one of the worst I've ever seen. That really was bad. They were using every chance they could. And I get it. It's not that I get it, but, they're Wigan, they're at St.Andrews, they're going to want to go away with a point. I understand the logic behind what they're doing, but the way they approached it and did it was just disgraceful.
No, but it was unacceptable. I think we're going to get used to that. One sort of downside of yesterday, Laird went off injured.
I saw him in a crutch this morning.
Yeah,
a cast, sorry.
Yeah, but I've been reading on social media about, if there's any update on him, and I don't know if this is correct or not, but he's saying that, it's just really bad bruising. He's not broken anything. But that's not official from the club, by the way, so take that with a pinch of salt. That's just what I've read. So hopefully it's not too bad an injury, because I think, he is one of our key players. He is.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
no, I mean, when Samstead came on, he didn't do too bad, actually.
No, Samstead was fine as well. To be fair to Laird, I thought, again, he had an okay game before he went off, but there was a few loose balls, a few sloppy moments where he could have got the ball in the box earlier. And that comes on to my next point, Dad, about Blues. And, we got the points. I'm happy. I'm buzzing. It was a memory that's going to go down the bank in terms of a day. But I still want to see more in the final third. I want to see more clinicalness. Yeah. And I use the word directness a lot. And that's not me saying that we should abandon this passing out from the back. Or that is here to stay. When I use that word, I'm not saying let's go back to hoofing it. I'm talking about taking 6 touches and moving the ball forward instead of 15, 20 touches, and then the momentum of the attack breaking down. I want to see more shots on goal. I want to see a few more chances from open play. And I think when we do click in the final third as a team, we really will be dangerous when, we look like we're going to score more often than not when we move forward. But at the moment, a bit more needs to click, don't it?
I think you're right. I think the game turned as well. I mean, it didn't turn because they scored that just slightly after this. But 61st minute, Leonard came on, and we took more control of the game. Although they scored in the 66th minute, just 5 minutes after he come on. But as I say, it was a goalkeeping error that caused that. But I think when Leonard came on, I always felt like you got more control of the game when he's on. That if they're under attack, he'll help break it down, and he's quite creative.
He's brilliant.
Linking up the play as well. But he came on in the 61st minute. Like I say, nothing that Gardner hitting them wrong. He had a decent game. Then we had the error. And then Yokoyama and Dykes came on the 74th minute. And I thought Yokoyama looked really good. He was really, obviously by that point we were 2-1 down. They were equalised, and we were looking for another goal to make it 2-1 to us. But he looked really positive. He had a few good sort of run at their sort of fullbacks and got a few good crosses in, had a few good shots. I think that would have impressed Chris Davis. I think he's really putting an argument out for a start. I
couldn't agree more. Yeah, I really want to see him starting.
Yeah, it's like Dykes put himself about. I don't think he got exactly the type of service that he would suit him, but he's new to the team, so he's going to be through training. He's going to get better.
He did what he does well, though.
I love it. I love to see forwards that don't get pushed around, because some of these centre halves are big lads. And that transitions is in nice. I'm sure you've got this next on your notes, but Bielek and Clara, absolutely outstanding. Clara especially was just an absolute brick wall all day, and rightly so. He got the man of the match, and I just thought, I want to make a specific point today about Bielek and Clara, because with them two at the back, fair enough, Wigan had patches in the second half at the start, but you always feel
so happy and secure when they're at centre half, don't you? Absolutely solid.
Oh, Clara to me. I was just about to say, he's our best son. I've just said Lennon's our best son, but I absolutely love Clara. I think he is immense. I know we paid something like $4 million or maybe just shy. I don't know what the exact figure is, but I think that's going to turn out to be worth every penny. He is immense. You know, he's got everything in terms of what a centre back needs. He's got the height. He doesn't get pushed around. You know, you see him like chasing balls and winning tackles. And he got an assist as well, didn't he?
The back heel or the flick. What's he doing?
Yeah, and to be fair to Scotty Wright, that was a great finish, you know, because he didn't just try and sort of place it; he levered it into the top.
Pressure,
there's no goalkeeper saving
90+1 to boot it in the roof of the net.
Oh, what a great goal that was for him on his debut. You know, he's in the interview after the game. He said it's a dream debut. Of course, it is. I couldn't have dreamed any better. But fair play to him, because obviously we had when we put our video out about Scotty Wright joining us, there was a few Rangers fans saying, "Oh, you know, he's not that good," and blah blah blah. And then I saw when I was looking for the through some of the pictures of the game, I came across the Daily Record in Scotland that's saying the headline was Scotty Wright scores 90 minutes winner for for Birmingham City, and it got underneath, are Rangers the problem? that's how they were questioning whether they was right to even sell him. But totally respect to the Rangers fans. You know, they've got their opinion of him. They've seen him more than we have. But he's made a decent start for us, and that was a great way to finish the game.
What a fantastic way in front of the Tilton. Everyone goes absolutely nuts for. I love moments like that. As I say, that as Birmingham City supporters, that's exactly what we live for. And the atmosphere was amazing. When that goal went in, it was amazing. And just, as you say, what a perfect way to make your name at Blues. What a perfect way to start your debut. And even before the goal, in pockets, he looked quite bright, didn't he, in certain areas and stuff. So, and that's the difference this year. When Chris Davies makes his substitutions, you know they're going to have impact. Everyone he's choosing is pretty much coming on and changing the game in some way and having some impact. And I don't know whether you saw Chris Davies' post-match interview, Dad. I want to fire you a quick question before we finish. And I thought this was interesting. And he said, I'm going to paraphrase here. Don't comment me, I've misquoted him here, but he says that we're working for the later part of the game. He says that we're tiring teams out. We're, basically we're using so much energy, we're using so much high intensity that teams after about 75, 80 minutes can't really handle what we're throwing at them. We're really grinding them down. He goes, that is a long-term strategy for this season. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, it's working. If you think about it, because we scored a very late penalty, which we got against Reading. Didn't we? We scored a very late goal, obviously, yesterday as well. And I think when we played Wickham, we scored late on, didn't we? I know they got a goal after that as well. I think it's working, because you can see that the way the hard work our team are putting in, it is going to, if you've got players that are going to keep the ball and pass it around the other team and chasing it, of course they're going to get tired as well. It's borne out as well by our possession stats as well. 66% possession we had in that game. But also as well, I know we don't take too much favour on this, but it's also a good indicator as well. 16 shots in total, 8 on target. That's improved.
Happy with 8 on target.
It's going up, and it should be more. I mean, when we were doing this last season at the end of games, we were getting on target 1s, 2s, 3s. That's 8, 4 off target. But I thought a real key statistic was the amount of passes as well. I think we had double the amount of passes today, which obviously is linked to your possession anyway. Yeah. So I can see what Chris Davies is saying about we're playing this high intensity football, and our levels of fitness are really, really high.
You can see it. I mean, look at Alfie May, the way he runs the line. Even
he's brilliant.
And Williamson yesterday.
I was just about to say he's our best player.
Is he your favourite sign of the transfer window?
No, it is actually Mark Leonard. But obviously, I'm loving Alfie May. Clara, absolutely brilliant in their positions. But and I'm hoping that a few more players as well, as we see them as well, the newer players as well, are going to be along that ilk as well. So just one final question for me for you, really, is that. Now that Stansfield's joined us, okay, that he'll be in consideration for the next games and next league game. Do you see him fitting in? Because obviously we've got Alfie May, who's going to be an out-and-out striker. Where do you see Stansfield fitting in?
I see him slotting in like he played against us for Fulham on the Tuesday night, because he played him on the right side of the attacking midfield. But he'll play Stansfield in the attacking right. He'll play Alfie May up front. But those two might interchange a little bit, because Alfie May has such high energy. Stansfield likes those cheeky runs around the back. I think he will start Stansfield in the attacking right mid for now, until we start to take a little bit more shape, get a bit more consistency in the league and the cups. And I think those two will kind of not swap, but they'll be sort of busybodying around each other's positions, and I think we could see that. So for me personally, I think
that'd suit him as well, Matt. Because the reason I asked that question as well is because to suit Stansfield's style of play, he needs a ball to run onto. He needs to, run a little bit like Alfie May running behind. He needs that. He's not like a tricky in the box type of jiggle around a few passes and shoot. It's like run and blast it and break the net. So I think that will need to be thought about in terms of the way we adjust our style for Stansfield. Yeah. But that was my thoughts as well. That would suit him as well because he's got if he's playing right or main right side of midfield, he's got all that area to run into as well.
And also, if you think about it, Keshi Anderson's injured, Miyoshi's gone. We could actually, I think, I'd rather have Stansfield in there than Harris being in a position he's not, because Harris is the traditional number 10. He can play on the right, but it's not his natural position. Yeah. Whereas Stansfield's a lot more suited to that, and I think that would be strongest for the team at the moment.
But it's looking good. It'd be great to see hear Blues fans' thoughts on that in terms of where you think Stansfield will play. But leave a comment below and let us know. But overall, the main thing was 3 points. As I say, when they scored, I did feel a bit frustrated. I thought it's a bit like, another burst balloon, the bubble's been inflated and now that they're going to ruin the party. But you always felt that we had the strength, the character, the skill, the professionalism to go on and win that game. And I've not felt that for a long, long time. So I was frustrated. As all Blues fans, you think, we've blown it and stuff like that. But then keep playing, keep working at it, and eventually we got the 3 point, and that's all that matters at the end of the day.
But even what you're talking about, Dad, is resilience and determination. And when was the last time a Blues team went out with a 1-1 draw or even being behind and we felt confident we could come back in and win it and go at teams? It's been a while.
Yeah. I've got one final point here. It's very, very. This is a quick one. Okay. Yeah. I just think that the teams that we've played so far, Reading, Leyton Orient, Wycombe, and now Wigan, all of them have tried to stifle us, press us. But I think when we play the better teams in the league,
coming up as well.
Yes, all of them are coming up. When we play the better teams in the league that will try and play football, will try and score goals, I think that might suit us better because that's going to create space behind them.
I think you're right.
So I think these type of teams is almost like a chess game for them that trying to break us or stop us and stuff like that. I think the other teams will try and come at us.
I agree.
And I do think as well, whether we like it or not, we are going to drop points and we are going to lose games this season. I believe, but and
of course
I think
we will.
Yeah,
of course we will. And X and social media is going to have a meltdown when we lose our first game. But that's football. Even Leicester came down last season to the Championship and they lost games. It happens.
It will. But because of the price tag we got around us now and the euphoria of us and the way we and our fans have celebrated, probably the best transfer window ever I can remember. I think we have got a target on our back. But with this team, who cares?
Absolutely. But if we, as you say, it doesn't matter. We can grind out a 90 plus 1 minute and say, who cares? It doesn't matter. Interesting. So as always, Blues fans, we'd love to hear from you. Please let us know what your thoughts were on the Birmingham City Wigan game at the weekend. Were you just as ecstatic and buzzing when that goal went in 90 plus 1? As I said, I think I've watched that video back about 50 times on YouTube. It was absolutely amazing. But please let us know in the comments below. And if you like this video specifically, please don't forget to give us a thumbs up. And please check us out on our social media channels. We have an X page, an Instagram page, and we're also on Spotify now as well. And if you haven't subscribed to our YouTube channel, please don't forget to hit that red subscribe button so you don't miss any future content all about Birmingham City. And myself and Dad will see you on the next video.